Stop everything you're doing right now. Do you see those 5 people on your screen? I need you to choose one of them based purely on instinct, on your first gut reaction. Don't think, don't analyze, just feel which one calls to you most powerfully. But why? Because this seemingly simple choice is about to reveal who your true soulmate really is. And listen carefully. You may already know who this person is. Perhaps they're already in your life at this very moment. Maybe someone you know but never considered in this way. Or perhaps someone you feel a strange connection with but can't explain why. This test won't show you a specific face, but it will reveal exactly the type of energy, personality, and soul that completes yours in ways you never imagined possible. Each of these 5 people represents a deep psychological archetype discovered by Jung after decades of studying human relationships. The person who stirs something within you most, whether it's curiosity, attraction, recognition, or even butterflies in your stomach, will reveal not only what type of partner you unconsciously seek, but primarily what kind of love your soul is crying out to receive. Our unconscious always knows exactly what we need before our rational mind understands it. Your choice will hit so precisely that you might even shock yourself with its accuracy. So stay until the end, because when you understand your own soulmate pattern, it becomes so much easier to recognize this person when they appear. If you felt drawn to the first figure, the silent guardian, you've just revealed something profound about your most essential emotional need. You seek a soulmate who will be your emotional safe harbor. Notice this person's characteristics. There's something in their posture that transmits serenity, a gaze that suggests depth without urgency, hands that seem capable of embracing without judgment. They don't need to say much. Their presence alone is an invitation to rest, to trust, to finally feel you can let your guard down. This choice reveals that you are someone who, consciously or not, carries a heavy emotional load. Perhaps you're the strong one in your circle, the person everyone turns to when they need support. Or maybe you've been through experiences that taught you to be hypervigilant, always alert for potential emotional threats. Your soul recognizes in the silent guardian that maternal energy, not in the literal sense, but in the deepest sense of emotional nourishment. You seek someone who sees your invisible wounds without you having to explain them. The silent guardian represents the archetype of love that doesn't need words to be understood. This is the person who notices when you're sad even when you're smiling. The one who offers you a hug at exactly the moment you need it most, without you having to ask. Someone who creates an environment where you can be vulnerable without fear of rejection or judgment. For you, true love isn't drama or intensity. It's the feeling of coming home after a long, difficult day. But here's what Jung would teach us about this projection. You're seeking in another something you need to develop within yourself. The need for emotional security that you project onto the guardian is actually a call for you to learn to become your own emotional refuge. You already possess within yourself this capacity for nurturing and protection, but perhaps you've learned to direct it only toward others, neglecting your own emotional needs. Your soulmate, therefore, isn't just someone who protects you, but someone who teaches you, through example, how to create genuine emotional security. This is the person who shows you that vulnerability isn't weakness, that tears aren't signs of failure, that asking for help doesn't make you less valuable. The silent guardian attracts you because they represent the integration of strength and sensitivity, a quality you admire and perhaps need to develop more fully in your own personality. The challenge with this type of soulmate is that it can awaken a tendency toward emotional dependence in you. There's a risk of becoming addicted to that feeling of security, of starting to believe you can only be happy or complete in this person's presence. Jung would warn us that true individuation, the process of becoming who we really are, requires us to learn to integrate these qualities within ourselves, not just seek them in others. Ask yourself, do you only allow yourself to be vulnerable when you feel 100% safe? Are you seeking in the silent guardian permission to finally rest from always being the strong one? And most importantly, what part of you needs to learn to offer yourself that unconditional acceptance you so value in others? Your choice reveals that you possess deep sensitivity and a capacity for love that can be both your greatest strength and your greatest vulnerability. The key is learning to balance your need for security with the courage to open yourself to experiences that may not offer guarantees, but can teach you important aspects about yourself. If your attention was captured by the second person, the free spirit, you've revealed something fascinating about your soul's deepest desires. You yearn for a connection that frees you from the emotional prisons you've built for yourself. Notice this second figure. There's something in their relaxed posture, their spontaneous smile, the way they seem completely at ease with themselves, that awakens positive envy in you. It's as if they possess a secret about how to live that you'd love to learn. This choice reveals that you are someone who, in some way, feels limited by your own life. Perhaps you've become accustomed to routines that suffocate you, expectations that aren't really yours, or a sense of responsibility that sometimes feels too heavy to carry alone. The free spirit represents for you not just a type of romantic partner, but a way of being that your soul recognizes as authentic and liberating. This figure transmits an energy of genuine lightness, not the superficiality of someone who avoids responsibilities, but the wisdom of someone who's learned not to take themselves so seriously. This is someone who laughs easily, who sees adventure where others see only routine, who can find beauty in the simplest moments. For you, who perhaps has learned to over-control life, this spontaneity is deeply attractive because it represents an emotional freedom you feel you've lost or never fully had. Jung would teach us that your attraction to the free spirit is actually a projection of your own potential for freedom. Within you exists this same capacity for lightness, spontaneity, living in the present without worrying excessively about what might go wrong. But perhaps you learned early on that being responsible means sacrificing joy, that being reliable means giving up spontaneity, that maturing means losing the ability to be surprised by life. Your free spirit soulmate isn't just someone who breaks you out of routine. They're someone who invites you to rediscover parts of yourself that may have fallen asleep. This is the person who challenges you to step out of your comfort zone, not through pressure or demands, but through the example of how it's possible to live with a more open heart. They show you that you can be responsible and spontaneous, reliable and adventurous, mature and playful at the same time. The deepest aspect of this attraction is that you seek someone who gives you permission to be yourself more completely. The free spirit represents the integration of freedom and commitment, independence and intimacy. This is someone who can commit deeply without losing their individual essence, who can love intensely without becoming possessive or controlling. But here's the challenge this type of soulmate can present. Their very free nature can awaken deep fears of abandonment or rejection in you. If you're someone who seeks security through control, loving a free spirit can be one of the most challenging and transformative experiences of your life. It's like learning to love with open hands, trusting that whoever truly loves you will choose to stay not out of obligation, but from genuine desire. This soulmate can teach you precious lessons about healthy detachment, about the difference between solitude and loneliness, about how it's possible to maintain your individuality even within a deep relationship. Ask yourself, what part of you feels imprisoned by your own life? Where are you afraid to allow yourself more emotional freedom? Are you seeking in the free spirit courage to make changes you could make yourself? And most importantly, are you ready to love someone who doesn't need you to be happy, but who chooses to share their happiness with you? Your choice reveals that you possess an adventurous heart that perhaps has learned to hide behind masks of seriousness and responsibility. The key is learning to integrate your need for structure with your desire for freedom, discovering that it's possible to create a life that is both stable and exciting. If you felt magnetized by the third person, the mysterious mind, you've just revealed something profound about your intellectual and spiritual nature. You seek a soulmate who understands you at levels that words cannot reach. Notice this third figure. There's something in their distant gaze, in the way they always seem to be thinking about something deep, in their contemplative posture, that awakens an almost mystical recognition in you. It's as if you were seeing someone who speaks the same invisible language you do. This choice reveals that you are a person of depths. You don't settle for superficial conversations or shallow connections. There exists within you a rich and complex inner universe, full of existential questions, intuitions you can't explain, and a constant need to understand life's and people's mysteries. The mysterious mind represents for you not just a type of partner, but someone who would finally understand your silences, your reflective pauses, your need for introspection. This figure transmits an energy of intellectual depth combined with intuitive sensitivity. This is someone who can spend hours in silence beside you without it being uncomfortable. Someone who understands that not all thoughts need to be verbalized to be communicated. For you, who perhaps feels misunderstood by most people, this mental and emotional attunement is deeply seductive. It's the promise of finally finding someone with whom you don't need to simplify your thoughts or pretend to be less complex than you really are. Jung would teach us that your attraction to the mysterious mind is a projection of your own need to integrate intellect and intuition, reason and mystery. You're attracted to this figure because they represent parts of yourself that perhaps you haven't fully developed or accepted yet. Maybe you're a very rational person who secretly desires to develop your intuition more. Or perhaps you're very intuitive and desire to find more structured ways to process and communicate your perceptions. Your mysterious mind soulmate isn't just someone who understands you. They're someone who challenges you to deepen your own understanding of yourself and life even further. This is the person with whom you can explore philosophical, psychological, or spiritual territories you may never have been able to explore with anyone before. They offer you conversations that change your perspective, silences that heal your soul, and a form of intimacy that transcends the physical and emotional to reach the intellectual and spiritual. What makes this connection so powerful is that it's based on mutual recognition of internal complexities. You both understand that there's much more happening beneath the surface of the personalities you show the world. There's a complicity in the fact that you both know the most interesting people are those who keep mysteries, who don't give themselves away completely at once, who preserve parts of themselves like precious treasures. But here's the challenge this type of soulmate can present. The very mysterious nature that attracts you can also awaken deep insecurities. If you're someone who seeks understanding, loving someone who always keeps something in reserve can be simultaneously fascinating and frustrating. You might find yourself constantly trying to decipher this person, wanting total access to their most intimate thoughts and feelings. If you're the type of person who feels secure when you can completely read the other person, the mysterious mind can teach you valuable lessons about accepting that even in the deepest connections, there will always be aspects of the other that remain unique and inaccessible. And this isn't a limitation of the relationship. It's what keeps the connection always interesting and evolving. Ask yourself, what part of your own complexity do you feel isn't understood by others? Are you seeking in the mysterious mind validation for aspects of yourself you may have learned to hide or minimize? Do you feel more loved when understood intellectually or when accepted emotionally? And most importantly, are you ready to love someone who will always surprise you, who will never become totally predictable or controllable? Your choice reveals that you possess extraordinary internal richness and a capacity for connection that goes far beyond the ordinary. The key is learning to value both the mystery of the other and your own mystery, understanding that true intimacy doesn't eliminate personal enigma, but celebrates it. If you felt irresistibly attracted to the fourth person, the fiery soul, you revealed something intense about your deepest emotional nature. You seek a soulmate who awakens you through intensity, who makes you feel completely alive even if it sometimes means getting burned. Notice this fourth figure. There's something in their magnetic posture, their gaze that seems to see through your soul, the almost electric energy that emanates from their presence, that stirs something primitive and powerful within you. This choice reveals that you are someone who feels truly alive only when being emotionally challenged. You don't seek comfortable or predictable love. You crave a connection that transforms you, that forces you to grow, that violently pulls you from your comfort zone and shows you what you're really capable of. The fiery soul represents for you not just physical passion, but a form of love that functions as a catalyst for your own personal evolution. This figure transmits an energy of transformation through intensity. This is someone who isn't afraid of necessary conflicts, who doesn't avoid difficult conversations, who confronts you when you're hiding from yourself. For you, who perhaps has grown accustomed to lukewarm relationships or people who don't challenge you, this emotional intensity is like a powerful drug. It's the promise of finally finding someone who has enough courage to truly love you, including your most difficult parts. Jung would teach us that your attraction to the fiery soul is a projection of your own internal fire that perhaps has been repressed or neglected. You're attracted to this intensity because it represents aspects of your own nature that you may have learned to control too much or consider inappropriate. Perhaps you're a naturally passionate person who learned to behave more restrainedly. Or maybe you have a capacity for personal transformation that only activates when you're provoked by someone equally intense. Your fiery soul soulmate isn't just someone who awakens passion in you. They're someone who forces you to confront your own contradictions, fears, and unrealized potential. This is the person who doesn't accept your excuses, who isn't satisfied with diminished versions of who you can be, who loves you so much they're willing to risk the relationship to help you grow. They show you that true love sometimes hurts, not out of malice, but because genuine growth is rarely comfortable. What makes this connection so addictive is that it operates in emotional extremes. You both understand that a life without intensity is a half-lived life, that it's better to feel too much than to feel nothing. that the most transformative relationships are those that challenge you to the limit of your emotional capacities. There's a complicity in understanding that love isn't just about harmony and peace. It's also about growth through friction, evolution through challenge. But here's the danger this type of soulmate can represent. The line between healthy transformation and toxic destruction can be very thin. If you're someone who confuses intensity with love, drama with passion, or conflict with connection, the fiery soul can either elevate you to new heights of personal growth or destroy you emotionally. The difference lies in the intention and direction of intensity. Is it being used to build something greater, or to satisfy neurotic needs for drama? This soulmate can teach you that you're stronger and more resilient than you imagine. That you're capable of profound transformations when you're willing to leave your comfort zone. But they can also awaken addictive patterns if you're someone who only feels loved when suffering, or if you confuse emotional turbulence with depth of connection. Ask yourself, what part of you feels asleep in your current life? Are you seeking in the fiery soul courage to make changes you could initiate yourself? Can you distinguish between constructive intensity and destructive drama? And most importantly, are you ready for a love that will transform you, even if it means discovering aspects of yourself you might prefer not to know? Your choice reveals that you possess an extraordinary capacity for rebirth and transformation, but also a tendency to only value what costs you dearly emotionally. The key is learning to channel your need for intensity toward genuine growth, distinguishing between the fire that illuminates and the fire that only consumes. If you felt deeply connected to the fifth person, the visionary companion, you revealed something mature and inspiring about your approach to love. You seek a soulmate who is not just a romantic partner, but a true journey companion in building something greater than either of you individually. Notice this fifth figure. There's something in their determined posture, their gaze that sees possibilities where others see only reality, the way they always seem to be building something invisible but real, that resonates with your own vision of the future. This choice reveals that you are someone who doesn't settle for relationships that exist only to satisfy basic emotional needs. You seek shared purpose, mutual growth, the feeling that together you can create something meaningful that neither of you could build alone. The visionary companion represents for you the possibility of love that transcends the personal, to become also constructive, evolutionary, with positive impact on the world around you. This figure transmits an energy of collaborative construction. This is someone who dreams big, but who also has their feet on the ground to transform visions into reality. They're a person who inspires you to be your best version, not through criticism or pressure, but through the example of how someone can live aligned with deep values and clear objectives. For you, who perhaps feels frustrated with the superficiality of many relationships, this depth of purpose is deeply attractive. Jung would teach us that your attraction to the visionary companion is a projection of your own need to find meaning and purpose, not just in individual life, but in how you relate to others. You're attracted to this figure because they represent the integration between personal love and collective contribution, between intimate satisfaction and social fulfillment. Perhaps you're someone who always felt you have something important to offer the world, but who needs the right partner to give form to this contribution. Your visionary companion soulmate isn't just someone who loves you. They're someone who believes in your highest version and gently challenges you to manifest it. This is the person with whom you can dream projects that will make a difference, with whom you can plan a future that is both personally satisfying and socially relevant. They understand that mature love isn't just about what you feel for each other, but about what you can create together. What makes this connection so solid is that it's based on shared values and complementary objectives. You both understand that a truly lasting relationship needs more than emotional compatibility. It needs alignment of worldview, mutual respect for each other's ambitions, willingness to grow together in the same direction. There's maturity in understanding that the deepest love is one that makes you a better person and motivates you to contribute positively to the world. But here's the challenge this type of soulmate can present: the tendency to idealize the relationship and partner too much. If you're someone who seeks perfection or has difficulty accepting human limitations, the visionary companion can become more of a concept than a real person. You might find yourself creating impossible expectations or neglecting simpler, more everyday aspects of love in favor of grand projects and shared objectives. This soulmate can teach you that it's possible to build a relationship based on mutual growth without losing tenderness, intimacy, and the fun that make love enjoyable. But they can also awaken your tendency toward perfectionism. or your difficulty accepting that even in the most aligned relationships, there will be moments of misalignment, priority conflicts, and the need to make compromises. The trap of this choice is forgetting that soulmate also means accepting imperfections, contradictions, moments when your visionary companion acts completely human and fallible. If you're someone who tends to put others on pedestals, especially those you admire, it can be challenging to discover that even your ideal partner has difficult days, irrational insecurities, and moments when they act in ways that don't match the elevated vision you have of them. Ask yourself, what projects or dreams do you feel you can only realize with the right partner? Are you seeking in the visionary companion motivation to pursue objectives you could embrace yourself? Can you love someone for who they are today, not just for the potential you see in them? And most importantly, are you prepared to also be someone's visionary companion, supporting their dreams even when they don't perfectly coincide with yours? Your choice reveals that you possess a rare ability to see elevated possibilities in people and situations, but also a tendency to become frustrated when reality doesn't correspond to your vision. The key is learning to balance your elevated ideals with loving acceptance of imperfect humanity, both yours and others. Now comes the moment of truth that will shake everything you thought about love. Do you know why you chose exactly that person? It wasn't coincidence. It wasn't preference. It was your unconscious screaming a truth your rational mind didn't yet have the courage to accept. You're in love with a part of yourself you've never had the courage to own. If you chose the silent guardian, it's because there's a wounded caregiver inside you begging to be loved. If it was the free spirit, there's a wild soul imprisoned by your own rules. If it was the mysterious mind, you hide a depth you're afraid to show the world. If it was the fiery soul, there's a fire within you that you've suppressed for fear of burning everything down. If it was the visionary companion, you have giant dreams you've never had the courage to pursue alone. But here's the truth nobody tells you. Your soulmate won't arrive like a wrapped gift to solve your life. They'll arrive like a cruel mirror that will show you exactly who you really are beneath all the masks you wear. They'll love you so much they'll force you to grow. They'll accept you so much you'll have no more excuses to hide. And you know what's scariest? They might already be in your life. It could be that person who bothers you because they know you too well. The one who challenges you when you only want comfort. The one who sees through your most elaborate lies. Maybe you've already rejected your soulmate because they arrived wrapped differently than you expected. Don't focus only on looking for someone to complete you, but become someone complete looking for someone to share that completeness with. Because the second you integrate within yourself that quality that attracted you in your choice, you'll stop desperately seeking love and start recognizing it when it knocks on your door. Your soulmate isn't in the future. They're on the other side of your own courage to become who you really are. The question isn't when you'll find them, but when you'll have enough courage to be found. If you've made it this far, it's because you're truly ready for this transformation. And if you want to go even deeper, if you want to see the face of the soulmate that resonates with your deepest essence, there's something that might surprise you. It's the soulmate story, an experience that uses your birth chart to create a personalized portrait of your soulmate, along with a narrative about how you should meet. It's a symbolic but powerful step for those who are truly ready for this reunion with true love. The link is in the first pinned comment. Now tell me what your choice was. Whether it was the guardian, the free spirit, the mysterious mind, the fiery soul, or the visionary companion. I want to see who really absorbed the message and is willing to make this journey of self-discovery. And if you know someone who needs to stop hiding behind masks and have the courage to truly love, send this video to that person. Thank you so much for staying until the end with me in this profound discovery about yourself. See you in the next video with more revelations that will stir your soul. Until then.